Hello, second violins. This is your discussion video for Sahara Crossing. I don't have a whole lot to say about this video, about this piece in this video, because you guys are doing it pretty well already. I just want to go over how to play soft. I'm mentioning this in every video because I don't know what order you'll watch the videos in. So if you haven't watched either of the other videos yet, here's the one where I talk about how to play soft. So, tip number one, get your bow away from the bridge. It's going to be all the way out here near the fingerboard, not on top of it or beyond it, but close to it. Also, tilt your bow stick away from your face, not towards your face. We don't want that. If you tilt your bow stick away from your face, you get a few hairs contacting the string. So the less hair contacting the string, the less potential for sound production, right? So that's what we want. We want a small sound because this beginning is piano and you guys are all playing a wonderful like forte orchestra wide. There's like no dynamic contrast and you're playing, it's exciting and you're playing the notes correctly mostly, but adding dynamic contrast is really the key here. And I'm giving you the string specific techniques for playing soft rather than Mr. Hughes is probably just shouting, play softer, and you have no idea how to do that. And a trombone player can't teach you how to play soft on a string instrument. So we're going to tilt the bow stick away from our face. We're going to actually, move the bow away from our face. And we're going to use kind of a slow bow and light to maybe no pressure. If your bow is in really good condition, you can actually just see what gravity will do. I'm not adding or taking away any pressure right now. And this is the amount of sound that my bow makes. I also have no control if I do that. So we want to have our normal bow grip, but this is where a curved pinky on top of the stick really helps, because this is where you take that weight out of the bow with this really strong pinky that you've got. So make sure you're playing a nice piano here at the beginning, and then you can make the dynamic contrast as necessary, as written, and then it'll be super, super cool, and you'll like blow everybody's minds with how professional you sound by doing these actual dynamics. That being said, also play all the right notes. Low first finger, E flat. Let me get my other taped up violin over here. E flat is a low first finger. That's all the way back here by the nut. This thing up here that's got grooves for your strings, this is the nut. Low first finger notes live way back here beside the nut. If this is your natural first finger position, these are regular first finger notes. Low first finger is not slightly below the tape. It's actually pretty far away. That being said, don't take this as like gospel that that your E flat is way back here, because everybody's instruments are different, and your first finger tape might be in a different spot. Your string could be a little flat today. There's a lot of factors that make it that you're going to need to move your finger around, and that's something that string players do all the time. Because we don't have frets, it's really easy for us to just manipulate the pitch to be the correct note. So if you play your first finger way back by the nut and it sounds wrong, move it around. See where it matches, because violin 1s, violin 2, and viola are all playing that E flat in bar 3. You all have that same note together. And it comes back together a lot. So get used to playing with your low first finger figuring out where that is on your instrument. Now we're just going to jump ahead a few bars to measure 48 and 49. Apparently, when I was making these little script notes to myself, there was nothing in between basically measure 3 and measure 48 that I thought you needed help with. I hope that's true. I hope everything is fine between here and there. Measure 48 and 49, this is something that was giving us problems the day that I led rehearsal. Everybody was coming in on the right beat, but nobody was playing it for just a quarter note. Like, everybody wanted to play a half note there and then continue playing half notes, and it just threw everything off. And no matter how much we talked about it and we figured it out in our brains, when we went to play it, it was still a struggle. I haven't heard you guys play it in a long time, so maybe this issue has fixed itself by now. On the chance that it hasn't, I am mentioning it in all of the discussion videos that measure 48 is 3 beats of silence and then a single quarter note, and then you start playing half notes. So get that into your head. You'll be able to pick it up really easily when I do the play along videos. I've got a metronome going when I do those. It flashes the beat numbers, so it's like super visual. You'll be able to hear it, how I play it, and you can play along with me. You can count along with what I'm playing. Also, when you go play with the other violin part and viola part videos, you all play the same note at the same time in measure 48. And because I'm playing with a metronome, I know that I will not be wrong. So if you go play with any of those other videos, it'll just reinforce the fact that you've got a bunch of rest between the notes that you play in 47 and the pickup into measure 49. Watch your dynamics at 58. Oh, check it out. I just taught you how to play piano at the beginning of this video, and here you are having to use it in measure 58. The tough thing here is that at measure 52, you're playing this loud quarter, eighth note rhythm. Seconds, violas, cellos, and basses all have this same rhythm. So please don't obliterate the first violins, which are the only people with the melody. Try to keep a lid on it when you play this part. That being said, you're going to be playing pretty loud. You're going to be pretty excited. In measure 58, the downbeat is loud. Beat 2 is piano. It's really soft. And then each bar is a little bit louder after measure 58. So the easiest thing to do to get this dynamic contrast is to use a very small amount of bow on the first note. Not like a micro amount of bow where you won't get any sound, but just enough bow to get a little bit of sound here. Also, the conductor helped you make this big dynamic contrast by dropping all of the other players except for violin 2 and viola. You do have friends here. Nobody is totally alone. You're even playing the same notes. So here's that pesky low 1. It's E flat. Violas are also going to be playing the same note, the same time, quietly. So there are other factors that are helping this sound quiet, but just don't like zone out, go on autopilot, and then just do a honking big ol' loud beat 2 in measure 58, because that'd be really embarrassing. Moving on, because there's, a Del Segno, stuff that we've already played, stuff that I didn't even talk about because apparently you're doing fine. I just wanted to mention the coda to count really carefully here. It starts out with long note values, especially in measure 66, super long note value that's 9 beats long. Bow distribution, I talk about that in the English folk song video, so really be mindful of not using too much bow at the beginning of this note and then running out before the end of it. It's super long. Measure 68 and 69, this is the pizzicatos starting in the cellos, and then seconds and violas come in on beat 4 of measure 68. And you've got a couple of beats rest while the first violins play, and then everybody comes in on beat 4 of measure 69 and plays together for 1, 3, 1. So making sure, like, it's very, very likely that Mr. Hughes might actually be conducting with both hands and doing something like accenting the beats that you play on. That's how I would conduct you, to make sure that you just go 1, 3, 1, and nobody gets tricked into playing in the rest. But just count really carefully, watch his beat pattern if you get lost. Just know that the cellos start on beat 1 of measure 68. They pluck 1, 2, 3, and then you guys come in 4, 1, 4, 1. And Mr. Hughes will probably be giving you guys cues and be like, here you go, and here's everyone, and now we're loud and we're plucking. And so it's probably, he's going to do everything he can so that this ending isn't tricky, but you guys have to be really confident in your part so that you don't end up getting distracted when you're all excited on stage in the concert and quite possibly plucking a big, loud, beautiful note at the wrong time. That's really all I have to say about Sahara Crossing. Here are the play-along videos. Should be popping up right now. The link to the slow practice video for Sahara Crossing. Sorry, there's blanket fuzzies tickling my face. The slow practice video, the performance tempo video, and here's the links to Violin 1 and Viola slow practice play-along videos. Remember that I would like you to do the slow practice videos at least 5 times to make sure that everything that you are doing is perfect when you play it slow, so that when you speed it up, you aren't accidentally practicing in mistakes and bad habits. Because you could be making mistakes that you don't even know you're making if you just jump right in and you start playing too fast too soon. So play with the second violin slow video a couple of times, and then play along with the first violin video, and play along with the viola video. That all counts that counts towards the 5 times through of slow practice. And then you can do the performance tempo videos as many times as you want. So, I hope this has been helpful. I will see you in the next video, and until then, happy practicing.